Hi, my name is Andrew here at Sierra Toyota, and I'm going to be talking to you all today about tire pressures and tire pressure monitoring systems. Here we have a 2020 Toyota Highlander that I'm going to be testing on today to show you the basics. Cut.
That was good. That was good. All right. Good job.
So as you can see, we have a tire pressure monitoring light on, illuminated on our dash here. So that's telling us we've got low tire pressure in one of these 4 tires on this vehicle. It's as simple as that. It's really not going any further. One of these tires is low and it's simply warning you, hey, one of these needs to be filled up before we start running down on the sidewalls or doing any damage. If you notice your vehicle pulling, more than likely is one of your front tires that's low. But let's go take a look and see what tire's low, why it's low, if it can be repaired, if we got to replace a tire on this thing. Really, we're just testing today, so I set this up. This vehicle, as I said earlier, 36 PSI. We don't actually have a flat on this car, but I went ahead and deflated it. Here's what we're looking at. 36 PSI is where we should be, and we're currently at 24 PSI on this one tire. And that's the reason why the light's on the dash. Since this thing has 36 PSI recommended, that light's going to come on anywhere below 30 PSI, right around. Generally, these systems run 6 to 12 PSI under what the door placard says. You're always going to want to go off that placard because Toyota, in this case, has done the math on the load rating of the tires, the speed ratings, the weight of the vehicle, and have come up with that 36 number that we're looking at. As you'll also see on the side of any tire, there is a maximum PSI that your tire can safely be inflated to before doing damage to it. That number you're going to want to avoid as much as possible, unless you're towing or something like that, and it's going to be a safety issue. But in this case, we got a stock vehicle, nothing crazy done to it. We're going to want to fill this thing back up to 36 PSI for the best driving habits. Or, well, driving characteristics, I should say. So now we're at 36 PSI, right where we wanted to be. So, if we go back into our vehicle, we should see that light turn off. Get in here on the dash. As you can see, we just filled our tire up and oh my gosh, this one turned off immediately. Okay, that's not good for the example I was about to say. But sometimes you'll notice that right after you fill your tires, your light's still on. And these systems can take up to 10 minutes of vehicle in motion up to minimum of 25 miles an hour for these things to reset and that light to go away. Also, a good thing to note is on these lights, if you start your vehicle up and that light is flashing at you, that means the computer isn't reading one of the sensors. We've got a communication error and there's more wrong than just a low tire. A fairly easy indicator if you have tire pressure sensors on your vehicle. One, if your vehicle was bought in the United States, if it's 2008 or newer, had to have it. But especially on your Toyotas, you're going to notice this valve stem is metal, not rubber. That's our direct tire pressure system, and they always have a metal valve stem. On a lot of the American domestics, say Fords and Chevys, you'll notice a rubber one and the sensor's bolted onto the back. But on all your Toyotas, or at least all the ones I've witnessed thus far, you have a metal stem coming out of your tire, and therefore you know right away, okay, this thing's got sensors installed. Also, the light on the dash is a pretty good indicator if you've got a sensor system or not. I'm sure everybody's heard of a donut spare, a little space saver spare. Those never have a sensor in them because there's just not enough space in that wheel tire assembly to fit a sensor. And they're always going to have a really high PSI, generally 60 PSI. This is what we have on this vehicle. Some cars, usually luxury cars, will have a full-size spare, and those will run a tire pressure sensor. And then you'll have a 5-sensor system. Say, very common on the RAV4s, if you have a low tire light, all 4 tires are filled up to the proper inflation, and you still got your tire light on, check your spare, because those almost always go low, and nobody thinks to check. So here is what I was talking about with the donut and or space saver tires. As you can see, much smaller. It says right on it, spare tire. And in big letters is the inflation, 60 PSI. To say on that. But as you can see, we have a rubber valve stem. Obviously no sensor in there. Obviously not enough space to put a sensor in there. But this would be filled up like any normal tire, but you're going to want a 60 PSI. If you're bringing it to us for your service, we check these every time. to make sure that if you have to put your spare on, you're good to go. You're not going to be stranded on the side of the road. Hey, thanks for watching our video today. If there's anything else you'd like touched up on, please leave a comment below. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified, hit that little bell icon. That'd really help us out. If you have anything in person, talk to Gabe Brendan, our service advisor, or one of our lovely advisors here, and just let us know what you want to hear. Until next time, everybody, have a good one.
Gracias por vernos. No olvides venir a visitarnos aquí a Sierra Toyota.